Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton, host of Invent America radio show. If you haven't heard us, please join us. And you can find us all over the internet. We are streaming on 8 different platforms. Today with me is Randi Butler. She was on the radio show with us last week. And we were talking about, those first steps and how important it is to get those first few steps right before you just, lose a lot of money down that black hole. So Randi, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And so tell us what you've invented and, kind of the stage you're at now.
So my invention is a dish drying rack. What basically the concept is it's like a traditional dish drying rack that you would buy in the store, but I have embedded fans, so it facilitates faster drying.
And I just think that's so cool. I can't wait to get one. And so, I met you, and the first thing we had done was then that comprehensive search. What did you learn from having that done, and why was it so important to get it done?
Absolutely. The thing that I learned is it's important to do a search of not just the United States, but the whole world. And I'll tell you, and your viewers about my experience. I did a search using an attorney, and we did a US search, and we really came up with nothing. And then when we went back and did the search of the entire world, looking for something, that might be in another country, we found something right here in the US that was very similar to mine. Now, fortunately, it is a little different, and we'll be able to hopefully get it patented anyway. But, for a while I was concerned that everything that I had already invested in was down the drain because, we found this item that was similar to mine. So I would start, if I'm doing it again, I would start right off with a global patent search.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we always talk about. If it's been done anywhere in the world at any time in history, you will not be granted a U.S. patent. But if you get the search done, the inventor, and then you go to the attorney, it allows you to frame the conversation.
Absolutely.
And, we've had so many times when the inventor has come back to us and the examiner found something. And if the inventor had known sooner rather than later, the patent would have been able to deal with it. And so a lot of times, if you can keep the examiner from getting into a rut because you dealt with the issue, that you're claiming the things that are different from the one that was found, it's a smoother sail. It's, it's certainly less indigestion for you when you know what you're dealing with, or you move on. You've got a lot of ideas. You told me once you've got several things that you would like to pursue.
Absolutely. And I started with one idea. Because, there's an expense when you're trying to invent something. So I figured, let me start with the one idea. And that's just been kind of what I've been holding on to before I move on to the other things.
Sure.
So, but in my case, fortunately, I'm able to proceed with this. But, it definitely, knowing what I'm doing for next time, it's helpful to know, the process. And I didn't know. So, doing it over again, I would definitely do the global patent search next time and just move on from there.
I mean, we've said many times, it's kind of a conflict of interest to have the attorney do the search who wants to write the patent, because it allows them to frame the conversation. And if you have the search done and you look at it, it allows you then to frame the conversation. And when you're the one paying the bill, that should be your privilege, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I was fortunate because my attorney does have a former U.S. patent examiner, working for him. So he was able to look at it and say, no, you're fine. But, how many people does this happen to, where basically they have to give up and, they're stopped in their tracks after they've already invested a lot of money.
Yeah. We had one that come back. There was almost exactly the same patent filed in Finland.
Wow.
And who would have thought to check Finland? But it came back in the worldwide search that was done. And it's like, it was almost word for word.
And being a new inventor, I didn't realize that, you educated me that if something is patented in another country, you won't get a patent application granted here.
Yeah, so, it's considered part of the public domain. it's been made public, and that's why we can find it. So if we can find it, somebody else can find it and copy it, and that's why it's called part of the public domain.
Yes, absolutely makes sense.
So, well, we are looking forward to having you on again when you actually have a prototype to show us.
I'm very excited too. I'm really looking forward to it.
Like I said,
can't
I
wait.
think all the women in my family cannot wait to get one of those.
Well, great. I can't wait to have one to sell you guys.
Anyway,
But
thank you so much for joining us today and telling us a little bit about your experience.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.